Jacob here with the Coaches Rowe. And today we have another guest, Caitlyn. She's been on before. She's a real estate professional, real estate agent. She's been doing it for about
5 years now.
4 or 5 years. Very good at what she does. And today she's going to share some insights with us on how she takes care of her clients and what that looks like for a home buyer or home seller. I like to focus on the buying part because sometimes that feels more stressful. I've been on both ends, and the buying, you have to apply for lending and do a bunch of stuff. So we're going to talk to Caitlyn today about how she takes care of her clients. And if you're not getting this from your real estate agent, you need to start shopping for new agents because they're all over the place. But it doesn't mean just because they have the license, it doesn't mean that they protect their clients the way they should. With that being said, Caitlyn's in Houston area. If you're in Texas and you need some help, feel free to reach out. All right, so real quick, if you know me, you know that I'm a fan of my notebook. I can't remember nothing. I always write everything down, and I try to make you do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, you don't take notes. You just remember stuff, and
Yeah.
that's like a superpower. I can't do it. I can't live my life that way. So just kind of going off of what I just said, if you get a first-time home buyer, new person kind of coming in, what should they expect and what should they do before they even start looking at homes to buy?
One of the biggest questions that we always get from a buyer is, am I reaching out to you too soon? And you can never reach out to a realtor too soon. And if they are putting you aside or saying that you need to do things first, then they're not willing to help you or guide you through that process, right? So your very first step is one, either reaching out to a lender or reaching out to a realtor, okay? If you reach out to me, I'm going to then let you know, like, hey, yes, you know, your first financial step is going to be reaching out to the lender. I have lenders on hand that you can use. If you have one, feel free to share their information and I can look into them as well. But talking to that lender is going to set you up financially for the beginning process of buying a home. They're going to let you know, are your finances good? Is your credit score good? Because that's a huge impact. Do you need to save up a little bit more for the home buying process? And then, if you still need to kind of work towards some of those steps, those first steps for the lending process, then we can be like, okay, let's reevaluate your timeline. Let's wait 6 months if you need help with credit, come back to us, and then we'll go from there. And even if you need help with your credit and things of that sort, a lot of the time the lenders have programs that you can do. They're going to be able to give you advice on how to build your credit. And so the first solid foundational step is either one, talking to your realtor who's going to put you in touch with the lender, or just heading to a lender in general.
So, working with a lender, obviously you're going to have to do it either way. And I would say lending, in my experience, is always the most stressful and the most aggravating.
It is.
So again, going back to, you'd say the first step is finding the lender. How do we know what lenders we can trust? Just because they're a lender doesn't mean they have your best interest at heart. So how do you go through navigating how important it is to have a trusted lender on hand? Not necessarily like I do business with you, you do business with me, but someone who's proven. And I would like, at least you can do 1 to 2 names, but I know the name that we're both going to agree on because it's who we use. And we've been competitive in the market for a long time. And there was lenders that people were like, hey, I've been doing this for 30, 40 years, and this is our sweared lender. And I was like, I went through that person twice, and I will never do it again. And then I met, I'll say his name first, Jonathan, right? Valor.
Jonathan Mullins with Valor Mortgage.
Yeah. So, and then it's like, we might have went back and forth a little bit, but at the end of the day, every single time we spoke, he's like, Jacob, you're gonna close. Yeah. He's like, it's just a matter of like how we get there, but you will. He's like, I have never not closed. And that's been an experience you've had with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we've talked about. So again, I'm rambling, but tell us about that, how important it is to have a trusted lender and what makes you trust the lender.
I mean, having the correct lender is literally going to make or break your deal. Your finances are the one thing that's going to get you to the closing table. And so having a lender that one you trust, that you can communicate with, that stays on top of it and lets you know like, hey, I need this, and this now, and helps you stay on track, that's huge, because that can make the difference of you closing in, 28 days or closing or almost getting to the closing table and then be like, hey, sorry, you're not able to finance for the property. Like you said, we've worked with Jonathan personally. I've worked with Jonathan for at least 2 years now, going on 3 probably, with my own buyers and things like that. And I always tell my buyers, he has a love or hate personality. You're either going to love him or you're going to hate him, but he is going to get you to the closing table.
Right. And at the end of the day, I don't need to love my lender
right.
or my agent or whatever. But if they're going to do the best business for my wallet and for my security and family, then I don't have to like you, but I can appreciate your work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. Like, Jonathan always has the buyer's best interest at heart. He may get a little excited and that nature, but I mean, he is 100% there fighting for you and making sure that one, you are getting the best deal, and two, that everything financially wise is good.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a veteran. So,
Yes.
And in the service, kind of how we spoke to each other was called direct communication. Yes. We didn't do it wasn't tell me a bunch of things around the main topic to soften the blow. It was more like, tell me what you think. Tell me why you think it. How did you reach this conclusion? And direct shoot me.
Right.
And yeah, there's a way. You don't cuss at me, maybe, but there's a way to do that directly with candor. And so Jonathan speaks very much like I do.
He does.
And we didn't really butt heads, but I got a little crazy with him a few times. And I told him. And you told him, like, hey, dealing with Jacob and lending, like, you're going to see a different side of Jacob.
Right. And again, that's what I tell my buyers every single time too. These lenders, they're going to ask for the same document about 10 different times in 3 different ways. And, you're going to get frustrated with lending, but just keep going.
Have you ever had a client work with a lender that you were not fond of?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you can guide them towards the lender that you feel that they can work better with, or they provide a better service. But in the end, your customer is always right. So at that point, it's like, okay, if that's who you choose, that's just fine. I'm going to work with that lender as best that I can. I'll keep my line of communication completely open for them. And all I ask is that I stay involved. I know exactly what's going on, what the process is. That way, if there's something that comes up to where I need to handle, I can handle it with my buyer or with the listing agent prior to. And that way we have no downfalls or, no speed bumps along the way.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. If you're the agent, you're kind of leading the transaction, right? So, So again, the Coaches Rowe is a spot for leaders to find each other, business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, leadership, right? It all kind of falls in, because I've never met a business owner that wasn't a leader.
Right.
And even if they were good or bad, they're still leading something.
Right.
They own this company. They have to lead their people and the way they do business in a certain fashion. So I think the agents themselves are the leading drive for their client.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not in charge of their decisions. You're just like, I call it the senior advisor. You're like their senior. And what you just said, I think, is super strong, because you just said, hey, it's not up to me, but I give them space. Like, I give them the recommendation, and it's their choice to make.
Yeah.
And then I do the best I can to provide them with the best service, knowing that they don't have the best people already. I got to be there for it. And that's what you just said. Like, I got to be there to be ready to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how many agents, and I'm not looking for a real number, but how many agents do you think really have that philosophy at heart?
Not many.
Yeah.
Honestly, not many. Real estate is such a saturated market for realtors. There's so many fish in the pond, and there's so many people to choose from. Just because you have the license doesn't mean that you are caring for the buyer or the seller. Yeah. You may be there solely because real estate can pay out really well, so you're there for that commission. It's just not something that I was in it for, just because one, we've bought properties ourselves. We've gone through that transition of buying and selling, and we know the stresses of it. But also, it's like you're holding a huge piece of this person's life in your hands.
Absolutely.
And it's like, okay, one small mistake on my end can ruin you financially for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Catastrophic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not to be over dramatic, but it is that severe.
Right. Because some people had ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, and stuff like that. And how much I bought my first house through Eric, right? And how many documents did we get in the mail where they're like, hey, adjust now and you don't have to make your next 4 payments, and we'll drop you by 3% and you'll $500 cheaper a month for your mortgage. And then it's like, if in 6 months though, my mortgage would have doubled because it's an adjustable rate mortgage based on the environment. So why not lock down that 3%, even though it's a little higher or whatever? And now we're in 6%, which is normal, but where the market is spoiled. So people don't want to hear that. But just speaking on that and going forward into, prices and things like that. And you're saying don't put yourself in a hardship that could risk your life. So let's talk about pre-approvals. So if your first step you're telling them is, hey, it's not too soon, find an agent, find a lender, and then they're talking to a lender. Next step, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is like, why do you need a pre-approval?
So you need that pre-approval, one, to figure out where you fit financially when purchasing a home.
Yeah.
Don't go looking at homes that are $1 million and you can't afford them. It's only going to break your heart.
I had to, I had to tell you, stop looking at that stuff. And you're doing it for research.
Right.
And I'm doing it like, I can't even look at that beautiful because it'll make me sad.
Well, because you see what this, what this is, and then you see what you can afford. And if it's a big difference, it's honestly looking at a new construction to a older resale property. And so having that pre-approval is going to, one, know that you can afford to purchase a home and that you're able to move forward. It's going to allow your seller to know that you are, again, able to move forward with the property. And then 3, it's letting you know your range, basically. And I always tell my sellers or my buyers, I'm like, okay, even if you're pre-approved up to $700,000, that doesn't mean that you need to spend $700,000. What you need to do is pick the mortgage amount that you're comfortable with, and then, base it off of your utility bills and estimates of that. And if you're comfortable with paying that price, then okay, then that's the price that we need to stay around when purchasing the property. We never want to put you into home to where, like I mentioned before, that your house broke. You're paying your mortgage, you're paying your utilities, and then you have very little for groceries or spending or, something to go out and do on the weekends.
I always laugh at that for house broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was a spot in my life where having a house meant you were rich.
Right.
So when people say house broke, I'm like, man, I don't care if I have any money. Like, I have a place to be. I belong here. Like, that's dope. But as you get older and those thoughts and feelings change, it's very much like all my money goes into bills. Yeah. And now what do I do? Like, I have the house, but it's like,
you can't furnish it.
Yeah. We've been there. Right. Military budgets aren't real savory when you got to move every 2-3 years and you just don't want to have too much to travel with.
Oh, right.
So that's super important. I mean, I never would have known what I could afford. And honestly, all of them were more than I thought. Like, I was always ready for, like, man, I'm looking at a house that's like $200,000 earlier in our lives. And I'm like, I'll never be able to afford that. And then it's like, but you can pretty easily, depending on like your interest rate and your credit report. And I just never would have known if I'd.
And see, and that's a big thing too, is because, buyers now are so, like, especially if they were shopping around COVID or even looked in COVID at any point, their price range in the COVID market is completely different than the market now. If you may have been able to afford a $400,000 home during the COVID market because you're sitting at, 2.75 interest rate. Now, if you were to look at that $400,000 home, your budget, your mortgage payment just went up another $1,000, $2,000 just because of the interest rate.
Right.
So, that's another reason to get pre-approved, know your numbers, know your limits, and comfortably move into the process.
So much to go through it. It's now I'm thinking about, like insurance and because a good lender will tell you like, hey, this is what the mortgage is, but the mortgage is not inclusive. It does not add your home insurance and your escrow taxes. So like your escrow will be added on later. So how many clients have you had that thought their mortgage was going to be $1,000 and it came out to like 1,700 and they didn't know why?
See, and this is also another thing of why I like working with the lenders that I work with, just because I know that they're giving all of the information that they need to give.
And honestly, I'm a huge fan of this, especially we're not talking nothing negative. This is positive. Yep. So let's give name. Who are the primary lenders you like to work with or that you've had good experiences with in the past?
Honestly, my go-to now is Jonathan Mullins. I'm licensed in Georgia and Texas. He is both licensed in Georgia and Texas. We've used him personally for our Texas home. I've used him on so many buyers. They all love him. We consider him a family friend now. Yeah. We've worked with him so often and we've gone to eat with him and everything like that. And it's more so just because one, he is a retired veteran. So of course we want to keep everything within family.
Yeah. Take care of our own.
Exactly. And two, he is straightforward. He's going to tell you he's going to break it down for you. Ask a million questions. He's going to give you a million answers.
If you like it or not.
If you like it or not. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like there's some times to where he may try to step outside of he
tries to
area.
Be a little agent sometimes.
Yeah. I gotta tell him, whoa, back up a little bit here. But no, I mean, we have that relationship to where I can let him know and talk with him like, hey, I need this from you. That's it.
Yeah.
And he is right there with me.
Yeah.
And I've worked with several other lenders, and he's probably my go-to just in overall. Lucy, the lender in Georgia as well.
Which I love her.
Yes, she has such a great personality. And honestly, I
love Jonathan too, but I love them both.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it comes down to like, you can see who your buyer is going to feel out more, you know, and if them and Jonathan don't click, I'm going to send them to Lucy just because, she's so bubbly and personable. And she's always picking up her phone too.
Yeah. We used them both. I used her and then I used him and
yeah. And that's what I mean. You're going to have strifes with every lender that you come in contact with. It's just the name of the game.
And it's usually the underwriter, not
yes.
not the
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But both, are extremely hardworking and they're there for you
if you need it. Yeah. And I'm gonna mention what is it called? United.
Veterans United.
Veterans United, and I'm gonna say it so you don't have to because I'm not in the business. Veterans United is a pit hole of disgusting mistakes. They destroy veterans' careers and lives. Some of them, because if you foreclose on a house and you have a top secret clearance, you lose job qualification. Mm-hmm. So like Veterans United ruins people's lives, and they're like one of the number one lenders. Yeah. And as far as we are in business, right? We've owned a bunch of rental properties. I've created commercial properties, and we know, right? Like they are freaking horrible.
Yeah.
And I try to do everything I can to get people not to use them. Yeah. But again, like you said, that's really what we're talking about is like, okay, but when I know you have them, I know that there's hidden fees and there's a bunch of hidden stuff that you don't know. And that's why they're promising you this great deal because they're going to tack all that on in the end. And they beat out all the competition by not foreclosing information,
right?
By not being transparent. And then once you decide to go with them and it's too late and you can't switch because it takes another 30 to 60 days to get financing, they're going to be like, oh, by the way, at the end of closing, you're going to get hit with an extra $10,000. And you're like, where did that come from? And you're like, well, it's...
Right. And at that point, it's like you're too far along, or it's like, hey, I'm sorry, but you can't finance.
Putting homeowners in distress before they even move in.
Right.
Or like, hey, that's all my savings. Now I had to bring an extra $5,000 to closing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've done so many deals with Veterans United as well. I will say that the local Veterans United in Hinesville, I believe his name is Tim Spears. I've worked with him personally. He was always very communicative, good to work with.
Awesome.
The overall Veterans United, I do not agree with.
Yeah. So I mean, at least they have some good people, though.
Right.
What's his name?
Tim Spears.
Tim Spears. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Now, yeah, it's really just making sure that they understand where their numbers are coming from. As long as they understand that, hey, you're paying an origination fee that's roughly, it could be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, and that they may have extra fees on there. As long as you know and you understand and you accept that, that's on you. That's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get you to the closing table then. But also I've had people to where, they initially started with Veterans United and then they switched to one of my lenders and are like, wow, you did save us $3,000 at the closing table.
Right.
And it like the
And
old
again,
saying is like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Right. I mean, I can hold a head under the water. You'll drink something. So okay, let's going forward in the process, right? You got your client has you. Mm-hmm. You talk about lending, they get lending, they certify on someone, they get a pre-approval, which again, not to be weird, but Jonathan got me a pre-approval in like 18 hours or something, or 12 hours.
Oh yeah. He can literally have it within 24 hours.
Because I said, I want that house. I found the house and he was like, I'll get you a pre-approval today. And we made the offer that day.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, someone else made an offer right after us. And since we made the offer first, they said, they were going to accept us.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay. And then they waited like 48 hours before they accepted.
Yeah.
And we were thinking like, all right, they probably went with this other person. Well, there was someone here when I left.
Okay.
There was another car out there looking, and then they're like, oh, they're looking. And that's why we had to rush. Mm-hmm. So without that rush job, we would have lost the house.
Yeah. And that's why having the right lender and communication and like agent lender communication is huge.
Yeah.
Is huge.
So then going forward, right, they're under contract, right? You got your people under contract. What's the next thing? What's the next steps they really got to worry about and think about?
So now your next thing is, going through your due diligence. You have to make sure that you have your home inspection report done. Any type of inspections, if you have a pool out back or anything that you deem necessary before you completely commit to this property.
So what do you do for home inspections, right? What do you do to help your client through that?
So just like we have a go-to lender, I have a go-to home inspector. And it's, again, someone that we've used personally. And it's more
again,
so
I like names because I love these people. Good old Mark.
Yeah. Mark Evans is, yeah.
He'll make you think the house is falling down.
He will.
But he'll call you and tell you, hey, I wrote it because that's how the report needs it.
Yeah.
And that's professionally what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez, Mark, like,
and I have to tell my buyers beforehand too.
Don't freak out.
Yeah. Like you're going to. When you see this report, you're going to freak out.
But when you talk to him, just ask all your questions. Yes. He'll answer every question. He loves to talk. Oh, yeah. But I love it. Me and him talked for how long, and he explains everything, and he'll tell you, like, hey, I wrote down 3,000 things, but there's only one thing I think you really need to even look at. And he's like, the rest of it is just not perfect. And he did construction for like 30 or 40 years. Wasn't he?
So he...
wasn't he like a foreman?
He was a code official.
Okay.
He was a code official for Fort Stewart after he retired from Fort Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, prior military.
Yeah.
He was a code official for Fort Stewart. And then I want to say he got into home inspecting. But I mean, he's been doing that for years.
Yeah. He said, this is my part-time job. And then I'm like... every day of your life, every waking minute is, but he's popular. Like people love using him.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Because if there's a problem, he's going to find it.
And again, it is honestly, if you love him, it's because he's helped you.
Yeah.
But there's companies or there's new construction builders who will not allow him to even walk into their properties.
Which should be illegal. Right. That they can't, because someone does a job, that they blacklist someone because he did nothing wrong.
Right.
There's, you know what I mean? Like, so that should be illegal.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of company I would stay away from, is like, I'm not allowed to hire
who
I want to inspect. I have to hire your inspector.
Right.
Like, how do I know any of this is above board? No. And even in real estate, you're not allowed to just like, you have to use my people. You have to recommend. Yeah, I can recommend, but I can't
Yeah.
make you. I have to
No.
let you make the choice.
Yeah.
That should be super. Why is that not illegal? Because the system is made to just get the purchase.
Oh yeah.
Just get the
Well,
get the signature and walk
especially
away.
or new construction.
Yeah,
Especially new
yeah,
construction.
because it's protecting
Yes.
not the individual.
Yeah.
Right. So in the inspections, what do you do to make sure that they understand and that the inspections happen correctly?
I like to attend all of the home inspections if I can.
Which is crazy because they're 3-4 hours long, and you're the
Yeah.
only agent I've ever known in my life that goes to the inspections and stays, and not just goes, walks with the inspector and asks questions.
Yeah.
And again, some agents are agents, and then there's you who treat being an agent like a full-time job,
Right.
because that's your whole purpose, is to make sure that the buyer's protected.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like for me to go and walk the property with the home inspector, I'm going to be able to see exactly what they're looking for. I'm going to learn what the different cracks in the foundation or the brick mean. I'm going to know if the hot water tank is missing a valve. Little things that I can point out to the buyer prior to even the home inspection, just so they are aware of like, hey, this may pop up in the home inspection, or this is something that the VA loan is going to require. They may see all the beautiful in the property, but I can still let them know like, hey, this isn't a big deal, but this is something to be aware of.
Right. So then going forward, you got the home inspection, you know how to communicate, right? You went to the home inspection, you talked to the inspector, already doing 10 times more than any other agent I've ever known. And again, I just say that because it's important. You want to know the person leading you through a process is leading you through experience and knowledge, and not just like, because I said so.
Right.
Like I hate that answer. Like, and if I ask why and you can't answer it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And you got to know more than just your craft to be good at it, because your craft ensues other jobs.
Right. Exactly. Real estate is so many different levels. The only thing that I am always like, hey, like that's not my job. Well, legal too, but finances, like,
Okay.
I can run numbers. I can give you estimates, but if you're wanting like cut and dry numbers, go to the lender, please.
Yeah.
I am not that good.
Yeah.
Good at math. Like
I do the math.
Yeah.
I do the math.
Right. Right. I can give you estimates, and I am very close with my estimates, but, anything like that, I'll direct you to the person it needs to go to.
Right. So in the inspections, you do all that, or you don't do it, but
I'm there.
you go. If there's problems and stuff in the inspections, how do you negotiate that going forward?
I always tell my buyers, okay, when we're looking at the home inspection, the biggest thing is like we want to worry about the roof, the HVAC, and your hot water tank. Those are going to be your three main, utilities or expenses when purchasing a home. If there's something wrong with that HVAC, then we need to make sure it's serviced. We need to make sure it's cleaned, things like that. We're going to address those first, and then anything else later, we can, those are going to be our top three. And then anything else, like we can put in there. But if we only get our top three, that's our goal. We'll shoot for the stars. But if we only get, again, the top main things that we need, that's a win for us.
Yeah.
Just because when you move into that property, you're not going to want to put a $10,000 roof on your house or
Right.
$20,000 roof on your house.
We're very aware.
And so being aware and having a good home inspector that's going to be able to look into those things and address like, hey, obviously they're not a technician for the HVAC or the, a roofer and things like that. But if they see something of like, hey, you need to address this with a professional, then we can extend due diligence or ask for that to be, reviewed and then repaired from there.
Right. And that's, I had pretty good experiences even before you were an agent with agents. I had Eric, and then who was the girl in Tennessee?
Oh, Kristen.
Kristen.
Right.
She was awesome. Yeah. She was always late, but she
she was.
she was moving quick, but she
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah.
I hope she sees this. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a while since we need to reach out. Just say
Right.
thank you. But then moving here to Texas, you weren't here. We weren't here. We were
Right.
in Georgia. Not having you here for my inspections, and because I'm spoiled now, right? I'm using you for everything.
Yeah.
For my inspections and everything, I've lived in this house for 18 months.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to say all the problems, but I put at least $30,000 to $40,000 cash into a house that was supposed to have no problems.
Right.
And that within the first year, right? The day I moved in, there was a puddle in the living room, and I had to get a repair done. And as the plumber comes in, he's like, "Your whole house needs new plumbing," and I'm like, "What?" Like I just had an inspection, and then I look in the garage, and the outlets are falling out of the wall and busted, and I'm like, "How did this pass inspection? Why was no one?" So again. And in Texas, they thought the agent I had, I won't say her name because I don't want to put anyone on blast. She was not good. And she was friends of the people selling the home, which is illegal because you knew the problems. You knew the problems with the home. And it just frustrates me.
Yeah,
And I know firsthand how important this conversation is that we're having because I need other people to hear it. I need you to stop using your friend that's an agent just because they're your friend.
Yeah.
I need you to stop using lenders that you know their name because everyone knows their name. I need you to start paying attention because the reason these people are still in business is because no one's willing to say stop.
Right.
No one's willing to stand up, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's okay." No, it's not okay.
Yeah.
You caught like if I was in a different financial spot, you'd have ruined my life because you're you.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just not okay. It's not okay that these people have this power and they're wielding these decisions for other people's lives.
Right.
Oh, it makes me so mad when I think about it. I'm getting sweating.
It's tough. And I mean, it was hard for me, especially not being here, because, the first time that I walk into any property, whether it's mine or someone else's, my eyes are going, and I'm now built to see the flaws in the property. And it's not because I want to or I'm trying to call them out. It's just because I am looking so hard for my buyers that it's just second nature at this point. So I know I drive you crazy because, I'm constantly pointing things out.
And I always tell you, is it a big deal or not? And you're like, no. And I'm like, then don't tell me. Like, you just take care of it then. Well, because it's your job.
Right. Right.
And I'm not going to get into the match of like, who knows more. You know more than I do. I just want you to do it. I don't stop talking to me about you.
And that's what I mean. Like, and sometimes I'm not even comfortable within myself of like, okay, like I really don't know if it's a big deal, but I know it's something that should maybe be addressed.
Yeah, you know how to figure it out.
Right.
You know who to call, who to contact. So sometimes I always remind you, I'm not your husband right now. I'm your client.
Yeah.
Stop treating me like I'm your husband. Treat me like I'm your client because I see how you take care of your clients.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to lead you through a process that you do day in and day out.
Yeah.
This is your lane. And again, as a leader, coach, and mentor in my own life, it's super important to say, hey, you have the talent.
Oh yeah.
You take this. This is not me. I don't have to lead you in real estate. Maybe for the first year because I did the schooling first or whatever. You know what I mean? Like with like, hey, I'll do flashcards with you.
Yeah.
And but other than that, I don't freaking know. Like, and I don't want to. You know, like that's why you do it and I don't because it's your profession. It's what you're good at. But again, I look at you and I'm like, that's the bare minimum. This is what an agent should do. Yeah. And then everywhere we go, they're like, you're crazy. You do all that? And I'm like,
you don't?
You mean you don't? Like, that's so scary.
Right.
Like, how do you earn your paycheck? What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you even do?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why people are always hesitant. Like, who has to pay commission? I don't want to have to pay you. I'm like, I get that. But you want people to just work for you for free?
Yeah, they don't know what goes behind, goes on behind the curtain.
It's 24/7.
Yeah.
You're never off the phone.
No, yeah. And, that was one of the biggest struggles, especially when first starting off in real estate, because, obviously you're wanting to answer the phone 24/7, just because you're building that clientele, you're building that rapport. And that's something that you have to navigate with of like, okay, yeah, I have to set my own boundaries. I have to, phone off at 9, whatever it may be, unless you have something of a deal or, something you have to work out that night. But just
most emergencies can wait till tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
Most.
Right.
Which realistically,
I'm answering the phone.
Yeah. I just wanted to, you can say that.
Right.
But let's be honest.
I mean, I have gotten better over the years, but I mean, that first year was,
You can think that.
And that's the thing, these buyers and the buyers and sellers think they have full access to you, which they absolutely do. But you also have to understand that we are people too.
Right.
We have families at home. We still have a life outside of
Right.
real estate. Yes, I'm 100% there for you, but just respect that I do have a family and.
Yeah. But if I'm going to the bathroom, let me go to the bathroom real quick. What can the buyers do, right? So we got through inspections and we're on the good path, right? We have our lending, everything's going good. In the time period of waiting between being under contract and inspections and due diligence is over, what can the buyers do to ensure that they walk through closing safely and securely and easily?
Your biggest thing is don't make any large purchases. Do not buy a car. Do not.
So many people.
Do not buy furniture, and if you
Nothing.
have any questions or you want to purchase something, you better ask your lender first.
Yeah.
I am so serious. Even if it is a $300 couch, ask your lender first. Just because they're going to be like, hey, let's hold off on that, or yeah, that's fine. But that small of a purchase can throw off your finances to where now you can't even afford a house to put that couch in.
Yeah.
And and
it's the underwriters. You might be able to afford it. It's not about what you can afford.
Right.
It's about the paperwork.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, we noticed you had a $2,000 change in finances. Now we need to know where that money went, how you got that money originally, and if it was spent on something we consider as silly.
right.
Or
Even just accepting a gift. So let's say, it's your birthday and your mom sends you over $1,000 freaking check. Now they're going to have to talk with your mother. They're going to have to go through your mom's finances, have to get screenshots of that check coming from her finance. They get invasive and for a good purpose, obviously.
yes,
most part,
but
yes.
there's been plenty of times, and I hope everyone listening can hear this. You can say no. And you have to understand that there's other lenders and that it's a business too. So these lenders go out of business if they don't secure lending. So it's not just like with your hands out. Can I have lending, please?
Right.
It's why should I use your company for my lending purposes? Right. Because you're going to get paid from me.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've developed that. So how many two lenders, I'm thinking in the, and how many did I call in the office and say, shut up, do your job?
Yeah.
And then I crunch numbers in my head as they're sitting there with the calculator. And I'm like, we're at the closing table. And I'm like, your numbers are wrong. And I'm looking at the documents with the closing attorney and I'm like, your numbers are off. And they're like, well, that's what the lender sent. And I call the lender, you're off. And the underwriter, which this is your only job, is off. And I'm like, how? We don't have this and we don't have, I'd submitted it 16 times.
Yes.
So at what point? And then I'm like, I might lose my interest rate because the lock on my interest rate's almost up and I'm going to lose everything because you didn't do your numbers. And I said, guess who's staying after work today?
Yeah.
You right now. And what, didn't that dude cry?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And we stayed at the,
in the middle,
the attorney's office for at least 3 hours past closing time.
and I'm yelling at him and thank God the attorneys, what was it?
It's Dixon and Lassiter.
Dixon and Lassiter, they stayed so long and they said, you know what? Like, because we see how messed up this is, we will wait.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Because if they would have left, that was my last day.
Yeah.
And if I didn't close that day, I was going to lose my insurance. So I told the company, because it's your fault, you will pay
for the extension.
For the extension, or whatever I lose, you will buy my points back. And they didn't want that. So of course. So again, it's a business.
Yeah.
And it's not the customer's always right. But if you know it's wrong, walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away. Don't work with people when you know. Do not just like, well, I don't like them, but I already hired. No, you can. Can't you cancel a contract with an agent?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've had so many buyers reach out to me stating like, hey, my realtor isn't doing XYZ for me, or I feel like they're not advocating for me. You can get out of any contract. Now, granted, are we reading the fine line and seeing what they snuck in there? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, no realtor is going to want that bad blood.
Mostly. There might be, we haven't ran into it. I'm sure someone has.
But yeah, if someone is not liking my work for them, which I've actually had a buyer come to me and she's like, hey, like your communication is lacking. And I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. I did not mean for that to happen. And she was absolutely ready to leave and go to another realtor. And it was actually her friend who reached out to me and told me. And we had that talk, and after that, it's been nothing but great. I mean, I still talk to her to this day. She was a great buyer. She's always come to me for questions afterwards. It's solely just having that talk, having that communication open.
And the willingness to be corrected.
If
Something's off, like, hey, maybe you don't feel the same, but.
Right. Yeah. If I don't see it, or, if I am dealing with multiple buyers at the same time, like, you deserve my attention just as as everyone else. And if I feel like I can't give that to you, I'm going to direct you into a different agent that can.
Or I don't have time right now, I'm so sorry.
Right.
But this is someone else I trust.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm willing to stake my name on this person. So then, that being said, right, we're through all that. Say we get to closing and we close, right? What do you do to provide service after the sale? How do you take care of them even though they're not your client no more? Because a lot of people, after closing, I've never talked to an agent.
Yeah.
Except for you and Eric.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of, they're kind of gone.
They disappear.
Afterwards.
I got paid, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, the realtor for this house even left her lockbox. She was done.
And well, she owed you money.
Yeah.
She owed you money.
She had a referral fee.
Yeah, and she never paid.
No.
Right. And instead of getting mad and like, I told you, go get that money. Like, she promised that. It's in the contract.
Yeah.
It's in the contract, and the company still tried to just like avoid us and not talk to us because a lockbox is $20 to $50,
right.
And they owed you $2,000, and they tried to, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And that's what,
after it being a double-ended deal for them.
a double-ended deal where they were not upfront.
Yeah.
And where I'm pretty sure I can prove that they knew.
Yeah,
of most of the issues that they were hiding, which is illegal.
Yeah.
And I'm not that kind of person.
No.
But still, I would be within my right to do that as the buyer. And so would you.
Right.
But again, just trying to, and the reason why we're going over it is because I'm so sick of hearing it. And I'm so sick of watching it. And if you look at yourself as a certain kind of person in life, you really need to, when something's wrong or messed up or whatever, someone has to say something.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, use my family. It's just these people, man. I'm so sick of these people just destroying and milking people for everything they're worth. Right. And I'm like, how many times in the last couple months have I told you, if we were in a different position, this would have really, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
It's upsetting me, but like, this would have really changed the outcome of my life.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you treat people this way? Like, you malicious snake, like, just for a couple $1,000, like, pitiful, So, and that's kind of why I talk about service after the sale. Because as a counselor, after leaving combat and being a counselor, service after the sale became my number one thing. How many people, I did contracts with, and then I reached out 6 months. Are you happy? Mm-hmm. Was that the right choice? Did I help?
Yeah.
Because I want to be better for the next people.
Absolutely.
Right? So what do you do to provide, or what do you think service after the sale means to you, or what do you?
It's still just having that line of communication open. I've had plenty of buyers message me, and I mean, literally days after they've closed, to where something like an HVAC, stops working, or I've had leaks and roofs and things of that nature, and they're automatically on the phone with me, and I want them to, I want them to ask me the questions. I can help them navigate who they need to go through, or what we need to do, who we can contact, to where if it's on, like, okay, if I know this HVAC was just serviced and now you're having issues with it, I'm going straight back to, who serviced that HVAC.
Right.
Just because I know that, okay, you may not understand that they're still liable for it.
Right.
But I know that I can get them to take care of.
Yeah, and that might not be why you reached out.
No.
Maybe you just wanted help or didn't understand.
Exactly. And that's 90% of the time is just like, hey, this stopped working. I don't know what to do. Or just me checking in like, hey, how are you guys doing? Do you guys need anything? Most of the time they'll see me posting on Facebook. We'll interact that way. I have buyers that have bought 2-3 years ago that I still in constant communication with. I have a buyer, honestly, I was literally just on the phone with her the other day. She's like, hey, she's like, you're the only other person that runs their own business, and I respect how you do business, and I feel like that I can talk to about. She actually owns an in-home daycare, that I can talk to you about these issues with.
And how cool was that?
Oh,
it's just so rewarding.
Absolutely. Yeah. And absolutely. And she was actually a buyer that came through Lucy.
Lucy, the lender.
Yeah, Lucy, the lender, requested or suggested me for her, and at first, like, I wasn't even sure if she liked me, but
well, she probably didn't. But it doesn't mean she didn't respect you.
Right. But right. I mean that respect absolutely grew over time.
Yeah.
And she'll be moving probably within the next year and a half, and she's actually coming to Texas. I know they'll be probably heading to Fort Hood, and she's like, hey, I hope that we can get together and have the boys meet and all of that. And I love that. I love being able to build the connections, and I know people all over now in all of the different states from moving
and the network of realtors is vast. So you'd be surprised how many people you can. Hey, I got an agent I trust up there in New York or in.
Absolutely.
In Michigan or whatever.
And that's what I mean. Like I have an agent in New York that is working with the buyer that I didn't even sell them a property in Georgia. We looked at houses, but it just wasn't the right time for them. And now they're buying in New York, and I was able to refer them to an agent. I have a buyer who they bought with me, they sold with me, and I referred them in Ohio. You have all these connections now all over the world to where they can still come and ask questions, or they're like, hey, I'm moving to North Carolina. Do you have an agent there? Absolutely. I can help you wherever you go.
Right.
And if I can't, I know someone that can.
And again, that's, like I said, that's service after the sale. Even though I don't get much or get anything from this, like I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that I take care of the people that reach out to me,
right?
Because you trusted me with this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to repay that trust with earning it.
Right.
Because maybe I didn't earn it up front, but please remember me and remember that this is how it's supposed to go. So if you feel something different, kick rocks, leave. Yeah. Don't stay where you're not valued. Yeah. Like if you're not valued as the buyer or the seller, walk away.
Right.
If they got more important stuff to do or bigger homes or more expensive, cool. Then go find those people. Yeah. Like let me be, then I'll go find someone who's going to care about what I have.
Absolutely.
And what I have to offer. Yeah. So that being said, just to wrap it up here, thank you for your time. And for the people out there, if you want to reach out to me or if you ever want some advice about real estate or whatever, again, Caitlyn is licensed in Texas. We're located in Kingwood. We're around the Houston area. She can cover all Houston area or other states, depending on where you're going. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to pay us anything.
Right.
If you want to reach out, if you need some advice, if you want some help, feel free. She's all over Caitlyn Rowe. She's all over Facebook and Instagram and all that. And if you want to reach out through this platform, just to, hey, can I get an email or something? We'll get you connected, and we'll make sure that we take care of you the best we can, if we can. That being said, thanks for listening. Don't forget to keep tuning back in. We got some more guests coming up in the next few weeks, and kind of a surprise guest coming within the next couple of days. We're really excited about. So hopefully this was informative, and hopefully it helps. Remember, growth starts at failure. So fail up and fail forward, and we'll see you next time.